Hello, welcome back to part 2 of getting your lawn ready for spring. Now, going back to where we started, let's have a little recap. If you haven't seen the first part, then check it out in our description. It will be there, the link will be there, so go and have a look at that. I will say, if you do like the video, hit that like button. By all means comment on it, and please do subscribe for future videos as well. So let's come walk onto the lawn. Remember, this is February the 2nd. It's a little bit early. Temperatures are abnormally warm for this time of year, but we all know that February can be a mixture of anything. So let's have a little recap on what we did. So this is for a lawn, for example, where somebody just wants a nice bit of grass. They're not worried about weeds, they're not worried about moss as not being in the lawn. This is just to get a nice, healthy, sustainable lawn. So what we first did, if you remember, we got the mower out and we chopped it down a little bit shorter than we did before, than we would normally do, and that was to save the scarifier from really sort of labouring and struggling through some of the thatch and the moss. And again, what we're trying to do here, we're looking at this as a moss control. We're looking at it as a way of developing the native grasses that we've got, but we're controlling the thatch at the same time. So it's a 3-in-1 benefit. Now, as you can see, what we did, we chopped it down with a lawnmower. Then and that was a battery powered lawnmower, remember? So from a sustainable perspective, that's a big thumbs up. Then we got our little battery powered scarifier out, and another plus on the sustainable front. And what we did, we set that quite high out the ground. Most people don't really understand how much you should scarify. The best way is to sort of understand that a scarifier is meant to comb it out. It's not meant to plough it out. Of course it can, but we're trying to pluck moss out. There's no root system, so it doesn't need to be forced into the ground. You only need to scarify into the ground, really, if you're trying to overseed, or if you're really trying to remove a lot of surface material. In this case, we're not. The object here is to let a little bit of air, a little bit of light into that canopy, but you need some thatch in your lawn. Lots of people, lots of enthusiasts have this sort of strange thing where they think they've got to scarify and verticut weekly, monthly. I think they must sleep thinking about scarifying. This is for a lawn that's just going to be nice. It's going to do its thing for the environment. It'll have weeds in it, probably won't have moss in there, but it looks good, it enhances your property, and it's not a lot of work. And of course it's sustainable as well. So we tickled a little bit of moss out in here, a little bit of thatch, and you can see even now there's some dead patches, or dead looking patches, and those patches, if we come down and have a look, are some of the sort of stolon growth, and this is sort of old dead stolon growth. Now you can argue that you could go over this 50 times and keep pulling these stolons out. There's a perfect idea of what stolon does though. Look at that rooting in different places, creating new plants. Of course, when we slice through them with a scarifier, that creates another parent plant and another and another and another. So millions of leaf blades in here in comparison to a ryegrass lawn, for example. Not saying it's everyone's cup of tea, but this grass will work for you a lot quicker. You have to remember, this is a fine turf grass. This is what we use on golf courses and sports grounds, sports pitches, all across the country, because it's native and because it likes to grow over here. As I say, it's a prunable grass, which ryegrass isn't. So when we scarified this, yes, we've left some material in. But to be perfectly honest, for the sort of type of lawn that we're going to be looking after here, which will be mown maybe at something like, I don't know, 35, 40 millimeters, something like that, where we just want green grass. I'm not too worried about this sort of little bit of dead matter, because once the lawn starts to recover, that will continue to degrade. If I was trying to roll a ball on here, yes, I'd be doing a lot of different things, but this is just about sustainable, happy, healthy lawns. Very little, with no chemical use, a little bit of fertilizer use, which we'll talk about in part 3, where we start to talk about our unique and probably the best lawn fertilizer, I'd say, in the world, which sounds daft, but when you've been doing or looking at fertilizers for 40 odd years like I have, I know what's good, I know what sells well, and they're not always the same. But we'll talk about that in another episode. What we're going to talk about now is where our next problem is, and our next problem is probably the UK's biggest problem, and that's moss. So, moss control. Let's get rid of the biggest sort of myth ever, the word moss killer. Moss killer doesn't exist. There used to be a sports turf product probably about 20 something years ago now that did actually kill moss. You can't kill moss. Let's get that message out there. What you can do is control it, and you control it in many different ways, but we've got to look and evaluate as to what those things are. Now, in terms of moss control products that we buy in garden centres, you'll also be able to buy from the Lawn Association quite a unique product only available to us very soon, which we'll talk about in a moment. The only thing you can do with moss is stop its conditions. So if your lawn is a little bit compacted, if it's a little bit thatchy, if it's a little bit damp, all you can do is enhance all of those different operations. Moss killing doesn't happen. There is a moss plant that we see, and there's a spore. Now, we'll talk about a couple of things here, but the idea of when do you spray a moss control product. Moss control products come in lots of different forms, but the easiest way and the way that we've enabled you guys to be able to use it is in a liquid form. A lot of products in garden centres, it's actually in a powder form, attached to a fertiliser prill, and you spread it on your lawn, and you're very, very lucky to kill much moss. What you do, you tend to blacken the top, and one of the reasons is that again, going back, don't forget, you cannot kill the spore. So we've got to look at the plant as being the thing that we've got to be able to control, and then hopefully create an environment where the spore can't germinate, or certainly struggles to germinate. So what a lot of people have done throughout turf care as well as lawn care is do an application of moss control before they scarify. Now, if you think about it, and we'll come over to here, we'll just have a little look over here. When you look at this sort of patch down here, it's incredibly dense, and the amount of liquid required to kill the plant at the bottom it would be astronomical. It's not actually physically possible, especially if you're using a granule, because you've got to hit every single plant to be able to dehydrate that moss plant. So that's one sort of thing that people have often got wrong. So when you consider that we can't do anything about the spore at all, one of the best ways, and this is the best way, and in my opinion the only way, is to actually scarify your lawn first. Because what you can see in here, for example, again, if you come back down into here where we've cleaned this out, you can actually get, you've obviously taken some moss out, but there's much easier canopy in here, an open thinned canopy that your moss product can actually hit the bottom of the plant, or hit the majority of the plant. When you do it before scarification, all you do is blacken this sort of top part, and that's not particularly very useful. It might look like you've killed the plant, but you've probably not killed it as much as you would think, and that's the benefit of scarification first and then moss control after. So when it comes to moss control, I think for homeowners it's a complicated area. We tended to sort of buy products that say what we want it to say. You know, we've got products that weed kill, they fertilize, they moss control, they do lots of different things. And to be perfectly honest, when you have 4 or 5 products in one product, you're probably getting about 20% value out of it. So when it comes to moss control, use a moss control product on its own. That's more effective, it's far easier, and you're certainly going to get a much better result. Now, as I said, there's lots of different products and it can become quite complicated. The average homeowner doesn't know. A lot of lawn professionals don't particularly know what application rates and so forth. Now, one of the things that we've done, we've teamed up with a company called Hell to make that application of moss control really simple. So when it comes to moss control, sustainability again is quite important. So we're using a product called iron here, and we've all got iron in our blood. So again, certainly not a chemical. It is manufactured, of course, but it's very safe. There'll be iron in our soils anyway, and we're just sort of adding to it a little bit, but not too much. So when it comes to applying it, we've teamed up with a company called Hell. We've got this fantastic little battery sprayer. Again, very simple to use, and again, the battery feature that we've got in here, as you can see, that actually came out of the little battery scarifier. So multi-use battery in lots and lots of implements. In this case, it's going to make looking after our moss a little bit easier, especially if I could get this battery in. So before anyone comments that I don't even know how to put a battery in, I'm a little bit blind when it comes to certainly looking at things close up, so just didn't have my glasses on there, couldn't see a damn thing. But the battery, as I say, fits in incredibly well, protected by this little bit. We'll discuss obviously this sprayer and a few of the other ones available on the shop store at some point. But this one I like because of the battery. It's very well built, and it's also adaptable. You know, you can spray water through this. You know, if you're doing some seeding, for example, in pots, or even if you're seeding little patches, you know, you can go out here and you haven't got to do this pumping up and down. You know, this is just pressing a button. It's as simple as that. So you can use it in other parts of your garden, but as a moss control product, an applicator, this is perfect. We will calibrate this for you. In fact, we've obviously already done that. We've also calibrated the correct amount of our new moss control product that goes in each tank as well, and even the size of area that it should be doing. Spraying can be complicated, especially if we start talking about litres a hectare and things like that. People get very bamboozled, and not surprisingly so. But the whole object of what we're going to do, we want to sell, give you the opportunity to use products that are sustainable, certainly very simple to use as well, where all the trouble sort of taken out from you as well. So we'll talk about this on another day. It comes with a little handy strap. So and again, the beauty, as I said to you, you've got a little filler tank here, a little filler cap, sorry. It's just pressing a button here and pressing a button here. It's so simple to use. When you use a lot of these other what we call pressure sprayers, you're constantly pumping up and down, putting it down. Here it's just a case of walking around and spraying. You know, couldn't be really any easier. It's also got an adjustable length rod here as well. But the nozzle again is perfect for moss control. This actually has lots of what we call large droplets, So that means lots and lots of water volume as well. So the beauty of putting moss control on sometimes, especially when people have put it down on their lawn in a granular form, it often blackens, and that's because there's no water content with it. It's a product anyway that is meant to be put down in a soluble form, i.e. added with water. But some of the clever people do sell it as a moss killer within a fertilizer. Not meant to be done. This is going to make your job a lot simpler. So there we go, all done. I've sprayed the whole lawn. This is about 100 square meters. It's taken me no longer than about 10 minutes. When you use the powders, powdered form with fertilizers, for example, you've got to generally come out with sticks and mark it all over the place. It takes an absolute age. That took me no time at all. And the beauty of using our new quite exciting moss control product is that because of the large water volume we're putting through, the large water droplets we're putting through as well, it's very safe. We don't have any risk of the grass and the moss over blackening and scorching, certainly scorching the grass. This is a very simple, safe product to use. Can't do really any damage with it. We've tested this at lots of different application rates, so it's very safe and simple to use as well. We'll do a video at some point on the easiest way to do it, but again, I chose to do it in two directions so I don't have any little missed areas, but again, you can choose to do it how you wish. But we'll do a separate video on that at some point. But it's incredibly comfortable. I could go off and do other bits in my garden now as well. But very useful tool, and it should make your moss control a lot simpler. So don't forget, fantastic little bit of kit is available on the Lawn Association's shop as we speak. Don't forget, we've got part 3 coming up in what we would call getting your lawn, possibly getting your lawn ready early for spring. So that'll be coming in the next few days as well, so keep your eye out for that. Don't forget, as I say, to like, subscribe and comment on anything you wish. We're not covering everything, you know. Again, if you want to look at the online learning course, that will give you indications of how to prevent the moss, you know, how to control the moss. This is just about some of the operations that we need to be doing. But as again, it's a test, you know. It's the 2nd of February. It's way too early for a lot of lawns, and certainly ryegrass lawns, it's very early for them. They probably won't be ready for a few more months. Native lawns will be, as we will see with this. This will recover fairly quickly, depending on the weather. We'll have to wait and see what that brings. So as I say, if you do want to join any of our Facebook or Instagrams, then do so. Follow all of those. It's a little bit complicated for me, so I apologise for all that. But other than that, thank you very much, and we will see you soon.